Hey everyone, welcome back to another Canadian real estate market update here on Bald Prairie Real Estate. My name is Matthew Pfeifer and I want to educate you all about Canadian real estate. We are maybe seeing a little bit of a cooling in the market. There's definitely some outliers though where their market is absolutely red hot. And Vancouver, you are no longer the most expensive Canadian housing market. You have been dethroned. If you've been following my channel for a while, you probably already know which city in Canada is now the most expensive, but we'll talk about that when we get to the individual market updates on each city. If you want to jump directly to one of those cities in the YouTube timeline here, you can just jump directly to that. We've also started to see interest rates rise, although it's only been one bump at the time of recording this, and we're not seeing any real significant change in the market. I don't think we will for a couple of months, and it's going to take probably a few more bumps to see any major impact. If you want to know what I think is going to happen as interest rates rise, right here I've got a little kind of explainer video on what I anticipate will happen as interest rates in Canada rise, so check that video out. If you wanted to buy a house this year in Canada and you want to get set up with a fantastic real estate agent, don't worry, I got you covered. You're going to see a link to my calendar in the description below, as well as my email address. You can book me in for a consult via that link there to my calendar, or just shoot me an email and I'll get you set up with a fantastic real estate agent in your market. But let's start off, as we always do, with another terrible joke. The other day I told my wife she's got to start embracing her mistakes. She turned around and gave me a hug. If you have a terrible joke that I can use in a future episode of Bald Prairie Real Estate, put it in the comments below, and like this video if you like this type of content, and subscribe if you haven't already. Victoria saw 718 homes sold in the month. That's down 17% from last year, but it is up 17% over their 5-year average, where normally a little over 600 houses would be sold in the month. With 960 homes put up for sale in the month, that is down 5% from last year, but it is up about 16% over their 5-year average, of typically just under 900 houses that would put up for sale in the month. Active listings, that's the number of homes currently for sale, continues to be a problem in Victoria and pretty much everywhere else in Canada, but they have 850 homes for sale right now. That's down 36% from last year, down 45% from the 5-year average. And that means months of inventory is at 1.2, very squarely in a seller's market. That is actually down from last month's 1.6 months of inventory. And the composite benchmark price in Victoria is now about $940,000, and that's up 24% from last year. Like I said in the intro, Vancouver, you're no longer the most expensive housing market in Canada. That now belongs to Toronto, but still a very active market. 3,400 houses sold in the month. That is down 8% from last year. It is up from the 5-year average by about 43%. Normally there's about 2,400 houses that would be sold in the month. There were 5,500 homes put up for sale last month in Vancouver, and not only is that up 8% from last year, it's up 31% from the 5-year average. This is good. More houses coming up for sale. They're going to balance things out in Vancouver. Normally there's about 4,200 homes that are put for sale in the month in Vancouver. Currently there are 6,700 homes for sale in Vancouver. That is down 19% from last year, and it is down 28% from their 5-year average. Normally you're going to see about 9,400 homes for sale at this time of year in Vancouver. That means months of inventory is 1.2, and that is down from last month's 1.4. That second most expensive housing market in Canada now has a composite benchmark price of $1.313 million, and that is up 21% from last year. Talking with agents in Vancouver, kind of the whispers are starting to come out that, hey, maybe are we seeing the peak of the market? Is this potentially the top? It's starting to feel like maybe things are slowing down a little bit, but again, make no mistake, this is still a very active market in Vancouver. Why might things be slowing down? Probably two major factors. The most obvious one is the costs of buying a house have gone up so much with how much prices have gone up. That might be having some buyers deciding not to make a purchase. But as well, there's a ton of buyer fatigue, buyers getting frustrated with the market and just choosing to sit things out right now. So those are two factors that are going to play, I think, fairly significant in the Vancouver real estate market going forward. What is going on in Calgary right now is utterly crazy. And we are seeing that dreaded foreign buyer from Vancouver and Toronto coming into the Calgary real estate market and buying properties like crazy. These numbers though, you might want to sit down because I didn't believe them myself. I had to double check everything just to make sure I wasn't putting decimals in the wrong spot because it's silly. There were 3,300 homes sold in Calgary last month. That is up 80% from last year and up 160% over the 5-year average. Normally, you wouldn't even see 1,300 houses sold in the month. And how about this for crazy? 4,600 homes were put up for sale in the month. That's up 63% from last year and 87% above the 5-year average, where normally less than 2,500 houses would be put up for sale in Calgary. But as you can see from the previous two numbers, active inventory still is really low. 3,600 houses for sale right now in Calgary. That's down 20% from last year and down 38% from their 5-year average. Normally they're closing in on 6,000 active listings at this time of year in Calgary. That means months of inventory is 0.8. This is the lowest I've seen in Calgary in a very long time, and it's down from last month's 1.1. The composite benchmark price in Calgary is just about $500,000. It's up 16% from last year. And look at this chart. It's darn near going vertical with prices right now. It's kind of silly what's going on. Talking with local real estate agents in Calgary, they say it feels like they're in the Toronto real estate market now because things are so crazy, multiple offers all the time, stuff going well over asking price, offers without conditions, which was unheard of even a year ago. This is absolutely crazy what's going on there. And now we're seeing Calgary have one of the tightest inventory situations in all of Canada. And it doesn't appear that there's a slowdown on the horizon coming up. I was expecting the Edmonton market to start going crazy after what we've been seeing going on in Calgary, as Calgary is often the market leader in Alberta, and that's exactly what we're starting to see. 2,200 homes were sold in the month. That's up 41% from last year, and it's up 91% from the 5-year average. And only about 1,200 homes are sold in the month in Edmonton. There were just under 3,000 homes put up for sale in Edmonton last month. That is up 12% from last year and up 16% from the 5-year average. And only about 2,500 homes are put up for sale in the month in Edmonton. But even though the number of homes that were put up for sale in Edmonton was up, it clearly wasn't anywhere near to what the sales numbers were, and that means inventory is down. There's about 4,800 homes for sale in Edmonton right now. It's down 15% from last year and down 35% from the 5-year average. Normally you're gonna see about 7,400 homes for sale at this time of year, and that means months of inventory has declined. It's 2.1 months of inventory in Edmonton, down from last month's 3.5. The composite benchmark price in Edmonton is about $340,000. It's been kind of hovering around there for a while. It is still up 6% from last year, but it's nowhere near that vertical trajectory that we're seeing in Calgary, although that might start happening with how strong the sales are in Edmonton right now. It's really uncanny how similar the Regina real estate market is in 2022 compared to 2021. In fact, the numbers are almost identical as we go through this. You see what I mean here. 263 homes were sold last month. That's up 10% from last year. It's up 54% from the 5-year average, which was 171 homes sold in the month. The 372 homes put up for sale in the month, well, that is equal to last year, and that is up 3% from the 5-year average, which is 360 homes put up for sale in the month. To start the month, there are 781 homes for sale, and that is exactly equal to what it was last year, and down 31% from the 5-year average, where normally we're gonna see about 1,140 homes for sale at this time of year in Regina. Months of inventory dropped to 3, meaning we're right on the edge of a seller's market, compared to last month's 4.6. Again, this number can be very deceiving. There are some market segments that are well below 3 months of inventory, while others are seeing more than 3 months of inventory. The composite benchmark price in Regina is up about 5% from last year. Typically January, February, somewhere in there, we see prices bottom out in Regina and then the increase through the spring market. So I'm anticipating that's probably going to happen again this year. Benchmark price, $261,000. If we follow typical patterns in the Regina real estate market, normally around January, February, those prices bottom out and then we see them increase all through the spring as the weather warms up, the real estate market warms up. I expect that to continue on this year in Regina, and we are starting to see the condo market continue to pick up some momentum. It's definitely not smoking hot, but we are seeing condos get sold in much higher numbers than we have in previous years. In Saskatoon, they had 318 homes sold in the month. That is down 10% from last year, but it's still up 30% from the 5-year average, where about 250 homes are typically sold in the month. There were 512 homes put up for sale last month in Saskatoon. That is down 6% from last year, but up 2% over the 5-year average. We are seeing a little bit of the fallout of the collapse of Epic Alliance, with some houses being put up for sale because of that. Normally you see about 500 homes put up for sale in the month in Saskatoon. Just a smidge over 900 homes for sale right now in Saskatoon. It's down 17% from last year and down 41% from the 5-year average. Normally we're gonna see over 1,500 homes for sale this time of year. That means months of inventory pushed down to 2.8, down from last month's 3.5. The composite benchmark price in Saskatoon increased 7% from last year, and it's now $330,000. Would you believe me if I told you the condo market is getting pretty hot in Saskatoon right now? I know, it sounds silly, but that's actually what's going on. In fact, for the first time in I don't know how long, the condo market is now statistically a seller's market in Saskatoon. So absolutely crazy that we are seeing now condos kind of come back to life. Of course, single family homes continue to sell very well in Saskatoon, and this is probably going to be a trend we're going to see continuing through the spring. In Winnipeg, they had 960 homes sold in the month. That is down 22% from last year. They had a little under 1,400 homes put up for sale. That is also down 19% from last year. There's currently 1,822 homes for sale, and that is down 24% from last year. Months of inventory, 1.9, and the benchmark price in Winnipeg is about $320,000. That is up 8% from last year. Really, what's holding back sales in Winnipeg is the lack of inventory. If there were more homes for sale, we'd probably see more sales happen, and prices would not be appreciating at the rate they are right now. Congratulations, Toronto. You are now the most expensive real estate market in Canada. To start 2021, the difference between Vancouver and Toronto prices was about 17%, and about 13 months later, now we see that Toronto has overtaken Vancouver as Canada's most expensive real estate market. The 9,100 homes that were sold last month in Toronto, that's actually down 17% from last year. It's still up 25% or the 5-year average. About 7,200 homes are typically sold in the month in Toronto. If you're out looking for a house in the Greater Toronto area, you know how hard it is to find anything for sale. Well, they had 14,000 listings put up for sale last month. That helped things. It is still down 7% from last year, but it is up 26% from their 5-year average, when only about 11,000 homes are put up for sale in the month. There still is under 7,000 homes for sale in the GTA right now, and that means they're down 20% from last year and down 30% from the 5-year average, or normally there's about 10,000 homes up for sale at this time of year. That means now for the 3rd month in a row, months of inventory increased. It still is only 0.8, which is very clearly still a strong seller's market, but that's a couple of months in a row of improvement. The composite benchmark price, that's where we combine all property types into one metric. It continues to skyrocket in Toronto. Like, the graph doesn't even look like it is real. They're up 38% from last year, now at $1.34 million. Talking with local real estate agents in Toronto, having more homes for sale is helping with relieving that pressure that buyers are seeing. We're not seeing as many offers on houses. We're seeing offer nights with no offers. This is good news for buyers. A slowdown in the market is going to kind of balance things out. But the condo market, that is starting to really take off, and this does not surprise me. The gap in prices between single family homes and condos really widened last year. That means that condos look more attractive to buyers because of the price, or simply single family homes are too expensive and buyers have to look at condos instead. There are 1,420 houses sold in Ottawa last month. That's up 2% from last year. It's also up 6% from their 5-year average. Normally it'd be about 1,130 homes sold in the month. We're finally seeing listings hitting the market in Ottawa. They had 1,760 listings put up for sale in the month. That is up 48% from last year, and it's up 17% from their 5-year average. Normally this time of year, you'd see about 1,500 houses put up for sale in the month. That big jump in listings is great to see, but there were still more buyers than those looking to put up their house for sale. That means inventory remains very low. Under 1,000 homes are for sale right now in Ottawa. That is up 4% from last year, but is down 60% from their 5-year average. Normally this time of year, you're going to see about 2,500 houses for sale in Ottawa. So that means months of inventory is 0.7. It is down from last month's 0.9. When you're under a month's worth of inventory, that is a critically low number of homes for sale. It should come as no surprise then that prices continue to rise in Ottawa. now over $700,000 for their composite benchmark price, and that is up 13% from last year. Talking with local real estate agents, they were really excited to see the number of listings increase because that gives buyers more choice, and it does have a cooling effect on the market. But 1 month doesn't make a trend. You're going to need a number of months in a row of more sellers than buyers before this inventory situation settles out in Ottawa and prices aren't going as crazy as they are, and you're not seeing multiple offers on basically everything. In Montreal, they had 4,400 homes sold in the month. That is down 14% from last year. It's also down 3% from their 5-year average. Only about 4,500 homes are sold in the month. There was about 5,800 homes put up for sale in the month in Montreal, and that is down 6% from last year and down 14% from their 5-year average, where normally you'd see somewhere in the neighborhood of about 6,800 homes put up for sale in the month. There's a little under 10,000 homes currently for sale in the Montreal area. That is down 12% from last year, and it is down 62% from their 5-year average, where normally about 22,000 homes are on the market for sale. That means months of inventory is 2.2. That is down from last month's 3.2. House prices in Montreal continue to rise. They're up 22%, and now that composite benchmark price is about $550,000. My local agent insight section here probably sounds like a broken record. They need to get more inventory in the market in Montreal, and until they see that, we're going to continue to see this pressure on buyers and increasing prices. They're just so much below what they would normally be at this time of year. It's making it very difficult for buyers. I know when I talk to people across the country, no one seems to realize how hot Halifax is, but of course, if you're watching this update, you know how crazy things are there. They had 371 sales last month. That is down 23% from last year, and they have less than 200 homes for sale right now. That is down 41% from last year. So that means they only have 2 weeks worth of inventory, 0.5 months, and until they get more inventory in the market, we're going to continue to see prices increase like we are. Now that average price is over $480,000, and that's up 20% from last year. Talking with local real estate agents in Halifax, it's going to sound much like last month, and that is people are just simply not putting their house up for sale because they know how hard it's going to be to buy something. So anybody who's maybe looking to move up to a larger house and get out of that small starter home, they're simply not making that move because there's so few homes for sale, and it's kind of a self-fulfilling problem. They're not getting enough listings, so people aren't buying, so they're not listing, and that's why you're seeing such a difficult situation at Halifax for anybody looking to get into the market. There's just nothing to buy right now. Outside of some cities like Calgary, where the market is crazy hot, it does appear that maybe we're starting to see things show those early signs of a slowdown in the Canadian housing market. But make no mistake, this is still an extremely active and extremely hot market that absolutely favors sellers pretty much across the country. And I talked about that in my 2022 predictions video, which if you haven't checked it out already, right here, it's kind of what I think is going to happen this year in the Canadian housing market. This video right here is what the YouTube algorithm says you need to watch next on Bald Prairie Real Estate. And as always, thanks very much for watching.